I was just about to set the table when my phone started vibrating violently against the counter. At first, I ignored it. I assumed it was another spam call. I was too focused on making sure the chicken did not burn and that the mashed potatoes were perfectly smooth. My son, Daniel, was supposed to arrive any minute. We had not shared a quiet dinner together in weeks, and I was determined to make tonight special. But then I glanced at the screen. It was my lawyer, Marion. Not a call, not a voicemail. A single text message. Call me immediately. Do not speak to anyone else. My heart stopped. Marion had been my lawyer and friend for over 20 years. She handled my late husband's estate. She drafted my will. She knew every detail of my life. She had never, not once, sent a message like that. My hands trembled as I dialed her number. She picked up before the first ring finished. "Janet," she said, but her voice was not her own. It was sharp, urgent, almost frightened. "Is your son with you right now?" "No," I whispered. "He is on his way. What is going on?" She hesitated. I heard papers shuffling, a door closing. Then her tone hardened. "Listen to me very carefully. I need you to stay calm. Something has come to my attention. Something about Daniel. I cannot discuss it over the phone. I need to meet with you first thing tomorrow morning. And Janet?" "Yes. Until then, do not let him know that you know anything, and under no circumstance allow access to your personal documents. Your life may depend on it." Before I could respond, I heard footsteps outside, slow, confident, approaching my front door. Then came 3 gentle knocks. Daniel had arrived, smiling, holding a bottle of wine, as if nothing was wrong. Before I continue, I want to pause and thank every single one of you who has been supporting my stories. Your comments, your love, your encouragement, they mean more to me than you will ever know. And if you are new here, welcome. I am so grateful you found this story. I would be honored to have you join this growing family. Hit that subscribe button and stay with me, because what I am about to reveal is something I never thought I would experience in my lifetime. Please do not forget to like this video and tell me in the comments, what would you do if you received a message like that about your own child? Now, let me take a deep breath, because what happened next still haunts me. I opened the door with a steady smile, pretending everything was normal. Daniel hugged me, kissed my cheek, and complimented the smell of dinner as if we were the perfect mother and son. But as I watched him stroll into my kitchen, laughing, pouring himself a glass of wine like he owned the place, a cold realization crawled up my spine. Had I been blind all these years? Had I missed something? Small incidents flickered in my memory. Money that went missing, sudden mood swings, mysterious phone calls he would walk outside to take, conversations that ended the moment I entered the room. I dismissed them all as stress, work pressure, relationship troubles. But now I heard Marion's voice echoing in my ears. "Do not let him suspect anything. Your life may depend on it." I watched my son lift his wineglass, grinning carelessly, and I wondered, was I sitting across from the boy I raised or someone I no longer recognized? I did not sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Daniel's face, smiling, laughing, eating the food I cooked. While somewhere beneath that charm hid a truth so dangerous that my own lawyer could not speak it over the phone. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, counting every creak in the house. At one point, I heard footsteps in the hallway. Late. Careful. I held my breath. Was it Daniel going to the bathroom? Or was he Was he inside my study? I waited until the sound faded, then crept out of bed. Slowly, silently, I approached the hallway. Daniel's bedroom door was slightly ajar, light spilling out. I peeked through the crack. He was not asleep. He was sitting at his desk, whispering into his phone. I could only catch fragments. No, she suspects nothing. Yes, tomorrow morning it will all be handled. Handled? By whom? I backed away before he could notice me. My pulse throbbed in my throat. I retreated to my room and locked the door. By dawn, I was already dressed and waiting for the sun to rise. At exactly 8 a.m., I drove to Marion's office. She greeted me with a face so grave it took my breath away. She did not even offer coffee. Instead, she laid 3 folders on the desk in front of me. Janet, before I show you this, I need you to prepare yourself. She opened the first folder. Inside were copies of legal documents. My own signature printed across multiple pages. Property transfer agreements, bank withdrawal authorizations, medical declarations. Except I had never signed any of them. I froze. What is this? Where did these come from? Marion looked me directly in the eye. Your son has been forging your signature for months. The room spun. My throat dried. I shook my head violently. No, Daniel would never. She interrupted gently but firmly. He has already initiated legal action to declare you mentally unfit to manage your assets. He submitted a medical report claiming you have early signs of dementia. He is attempting to claim full guardianship over you. Guardianship. Like I was some helpless invalid, like I was no longer a mother, but a possession to be controlled. My hands trembled uncontrollably. Marion slid over the second folder. It contained records of my house, listed for sale. My house, the one my husband and I built, the one where I raised Daniel, the one I planned to die in. I swallowed hard. He wants to sell it? Yes, Marion said. And not just that, he has already withdrawn $70,000 from your retirement funds. My breath caught in my chest. 70,000? My entire future, gambled away like loose change. I forced my voice to remain steady. Why? Why would he do this to me? Marion sighed, closing the final folder without opening it. I believe he is in serious debt, and I believe he intends to take everything before you can stop him. For a long moment, I said nothing. I stared at the folders, at the lies, at the betrayal sitting there in ink. And then something inside me shifted. A slow burning anger began to rise in my chest. I had spent my whole life protecting my son. Now, I would have to protect myself from him. I looked up at Marion with a calm I did not recognize. What do you think we should do now? Marion leaned forward. We set a trap. That night, I returned home with a smile on my face. A smile Daniel would never suspect. He was watching television. He muted it instantly. How was your morning, Mom? Lovely, I replied sweetly. I had coffee with an old friend. He smiled, relieved. He did not know I had finally seen him. Not as my son, but as my enemy. I woke up the next morning with a heart that felt like stone. The woman who had once clung to hope was gone. In her place stood someone colder, someone sharper, someone ready to fight. But I could not reveal my hand too early. I had to play the part of the loving, clueless mother just a little longer. That afternoon, I entered the living room while Daniel was out grocery shopping. I needed answers, and I knew exactly where to look. His laptop sat open on the dining table. For a moment, I hesitated. I had never invaded his privacy before. But then I remembered the forged signatures, the stolen money, the house listed for sale without my knowledge. He had forfeited his right to privacy the moment he violated mine. I opened his email. The first message froze my blood. From property broker Alex at harrisonrealty.com. Subject, regarding the sale of 114 Brookfield Lane. The buyer is eager. If your mother questions anything, remind her she signed the agreement in December. The deposit will be wired to your account tomorrow. I felt my knees weaken. Buyer, deposit, tomorrow. He was going to sell my home within 24 hours. I opened another message. This one was worse. From unknown number. You owe me $85,000. If I do not receive payment by Friday, I am coming to your mother's house personally, and believe me, I will not be gentle. My blood ran cold. So that was it. Debt, threats, danger. I was not dealing with a misguided son. I was dealing with a desperate man. I heard the front door unlock. I slammed the laptop shut just in time. Daniel entered, smiling as usual, but this time I saw the cracks. His smile was too wide, his voice too soft. He placed the grocery bags down and glanced at me. Everything all right, Mom? Yes, I replied warmly. Actually, I have been thinking. I might visit the doctor soon, just for a routine checkup. His eyes lit up, just slightly, but I saw it. The predator scenting weakness. That is a good idea, he said smoothly. I can even drive you. We should get ahead of things. Ahead of what, Daniel? My sanity? My freedom? My will? The next day, Marian arranged a meeting. She told Daniel it was with a psychologist specializing in elder assessment. He believed it was part of his guardianship plan. Little did he know, it was a trap. When we arrived, the room was not filled with doctors. It was filled with 2 attorneys, a witness, and a police officer. Daniel froze. His eyes darted to me, silently pleading for an explanation. I stared back at him with a calm expression. Go on, I said softly. Tell them why you forged my name. His jaw clenched. He forced a laugh. Mom, what are you talking about? I think there's some kind of mistake. Marian cut him off. We have copies of every fraudulent document. We traced the IP addresses used to file them. They came from your devices. Daniel paled. His lips trembled. He backed away toward the wall like a cornered animal. The police officer stepped forward. Daniel Brooks, you are being placed under preliminary investigation for forgery, financial exploitation, and attempted real estate fraud. No! He shouted. He bolted for the door. But the officer blocked him. That was when he snapped. His voice erupted, filled with rage I had never heard in my life. You think you can just live your life while I drown in debt? You have everything, and I have nothing. You owe me." The room went silent. Slowly, I stood up. I walked toward him until we were face to face. I looked into the eyes of the child I once rocked to sleep, and I whispered, "A son protects his mother. He does not destroy her." His face twisted, with guilt or hatred, I could not tell. All I knew was this: the boy I had raised was gone. Only a stranger remained. The interrogation room fell silent after my words. Daniel stood there, not as my son, not as the little boy who once held my finger while learning to walk, but as a man exposed. A man who had planned my downfall with the same hands I once trusted to hold me steady in old age. The officer asked if I wished to press full charges. For a moment, time stood still. Part of me screamed, yes, let him feel the law. Let him taste the consequences of his greed. Let the world know what he had done. But another part of me, the part that carried him for 9 months in my womb, trembled. I turned to Marion. Her expression was firm, yet compassionate. "You do not have to decide now," she whispered. But I had already decided. Later that evening, Daniel sat before me in a private conference room. No police, no lawyers, just us. Or perhaps 2 strangers wearing familiar faces. He would not look me in the eye. His voice was low. "I never wanted to hurt you." "Yes," I replied, taking a slow breath. "You only wanted to take everything I built." He winced. His shoulders shook, like the reality was finally crashing down upon him. He spoke again. "I was drowning in debt. I borrowed money from the wrong people. They threatened to come after me. I panicked. I thought I could just take control before it got worse. I told myself I deserved it, that you would be fine either way." Tears stung my eyes, not from pity, from heartbreak. "You convinced yourself that betrayal was justified," I said. He nodded weakly. "Yes." I placed a folder on the table between us. "Inside," I said, "is a legal agreement drafted by Marion." He opened it. His breath caught. It was not an arrest warrant. It was a severance, a complete renunciation of all rights to my estate, my house, my finances, everything. In exchange, no jail, no public record, but also no inheritance. He looked up at me, stunned. "You are disowning me." I swallowed hard. "I am setting you free from temptation, from entitlement, from the twisted belief that my life is yours to control." His voice cracked. "So that is it? You will never forgive me?" I closed my eyes for a moment. Then I spoke the truth I had only just found within myself. Forgiveness does not mean reinstating trust. It means releasing myself from hatred while protecting myself from harm. He stared at me for a long, unbearable silence. Then, wordlessly, he signed. I watched him walk away that night, not as my son, not as my enemy, but as a consequence of his own choices. I do not know if redemption is in his future, but I do know this: blood makes you related. Loyalty makes you family. and I refuse to spend the rest of my life defending myself from the child I brought into this world. I choose peace, even if it means choosing distance. If you are watching this and your heart is heavy, I understand. Loving someone does not mean allowing them to destroy you. Sometimes the strongest act of love for them and for yourself is drawing a boundary they can't cross. Now, I want to hear from you. What would you have done in my place? Would you forgive him or send him to prison? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Your voices matter more than you know. And if this story touched you, please like, subscribe, and stay with me for more true stories of strength, betrayal, and survival. Until next time, this is Janet, signing off.